Welcome to the Virginia Department of Conservation and Recreation's Nutrient Management Plan Writing Module Training. This video covers the features portion of the mapping tab in plan writing. When you first enter the mapping section of plan writing, you will default to the land units tab, which is where you draw out, copy, or import all the shapefiles that you want to eventually be fields in your plan. You see up here on the left-hand side, there's two other tabs next to that land units. The next one is features and TOC, which is short for table of contents. The features tab will be used heavily in animal plans, but it is useful in other plans. When you click on it, you'll see that there's nothing there to start with. You'll be adding them into land units or the surrounding area as needed. When you first open it up, you'll see a list of all available features. Some of these will already be drawn out on the map. You can see information about perennial water bodies or perennial streams. We do have streams and water bodies in here, but if there's one that is near a farm that you know about, you can certainly draw it on. The most heavily used feature here would be this manure storage. If you have an animal plan and you are going to be using manure as a nutrient source, you need to create a manure storage. This manure storage feature allows for the plan writing software to allocate a location for the animals to be creating manure, and this will act as the anchor for that. So to create a manure storage, you simply click on that feature and it'll open up. There are three options you can choose: point, polygon, or circle. There's not a lot of difference in the system regarding which one you use. It just depends on how you want to draw out this particular feature. Say I'm working on a chicken operation plan and I want to draw out a litter shed. Often I'll select a polygon. Before you can actually draw it out, you have to click on the draw button. And from there, you can draw out your storage. This isn't an active plan, so I will create my imaginary chicken litter shed down here in this corner. Draw out the approximate shape. And again, on the left-hand side, you'll see a box pop up that requires you to name it because there's a red asterisk next to it. So I can name it litter shed. If you want to describe what that building is, you certainly can, but it will really only show the name of it. And when you are happy with that, you can click save. And now I have a plan feature added successfully. You can see at the top, and I now have a litter shed on my plan that will be allow me to allocate manure to that building. Some other features that you may use would be occupied dwelling. You can see here on this house field that there's a building there. Say this is a field that I plan to spread my litter on. We do have setbacks related to certain dwellings, occupied dwellings, wells, water bodies, sinkholes, etc. If you have those on your field and you want to make the farmer aware of where they are and a buffer of that, we can certainly do that. I clicked on the occupied dwelling. It's going to give me a point or a polygon. And you'll also see next to this draw button, there is an add buffer button. So when I go to draw out, I can click add a buffer. And you'll see a secondary box pop up that says add buffer. And in there, you can select your setback categories. So there are different categories required for different setbacks. This one, it gives you the option of biosolids or manure applications and plans that are a VPA or VPDES permit. Say for this example, I'm doing it for a VPA permit. It says that I have to stay 200 feet back from an occupied dwelling in that field. I'll click save. And from there, I can draw out my house feature. Again, you have to name it. So I'll simply name this house. I'll hit save. And from there, it draws that 200-foot buffer, which is a big chunk of that field. We also have options for buffers such as a well. If you have a well, you can draw that. Say this house has a well right there. I am going to put that as a point, type in my name, add a buffer. Again, You can see this one has plans not associated with biosolids VPA permits or industrial applications, but we're going to use a VPA, and that's going to give me a 100-foot setback from that. Save, and again, that is drawn out around there. Other features in here, limestone rock outcrops. If I wanted to draw property lines, I could. If I wanted to draw my chicken houses out, I could certainly do that. Again, you have point or polygon. That is up to you which option you want to use. And if I wanted to draw out my, in this plan, imaginary houses, I certainly could, just to have an idea of where they're located on the farm.